Well, as you know, the weekend is a bit chaotic when it comes to watching pro wrestling, but for right now, I decided I'm just going to keep it shorter for everyone. So for today, we're going to be only reviewing the latest ChocoPro show, number 353, featuring three matches. As you know, recently, Emi Sakura, Balinaki, and Eme Shruga went on an Indian tour, so now they're back and they're in their individual matches. Well, May and Balin are in their tag match, while Emmy is in her own tag match as well. So we'll see how things roll up on that. And then, of course, we have AEW Collision. As you know, we're only 5 weeks away until the pay per view Revolution. So we're going to see, of course, Bryan Danielson and Eddie Kingston in action in their own individual matches. We have the AEW International Championship defended as well. And then, of course, the steel cage escape match between FTR and Daniel Garcia against the House of Black. So that's going to be one hell of a banger match. And of course, we have our news updates. We're going to keep this short. We're going to keep updates on JCW's Jersey J Cup with a brand new entrant, and of course, interesting developments um, regarding Momo Kohgo and Black Menso-re. And then we're going to end this with, of course, we call this the WWE Royal Rumble news. Now, on record on that, I did not see the Royal Rumble, but I have been following what's been going on. I will explain more about if I'm going to watch it or not on the next episode, but we just have to wait and see. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to the Lead It Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world where pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the factions, promotions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also do more news updates. If I'm unable to put it on this episode, I can put it on a separate episode by itself or something like that. And we also do other cool stuff as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us. So click on that subscribe button. Or if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, let's begin with ChocoPro with number 353. Now, this is the much latest and much recent show from ChocoPro. As you know, the show opened up with Emi Sakura. As you know, Emi Sakura recently, along with Balinaki and Mei Shruga, made a trip to India, which is Balinaki's home country. So they haven't done any shows for quite a while, but it's great that they're back. So Emi Sakura did her thing, her duty, where she gave a lowdown. Now, in a surprise appearance, we have Mia Yotsuba, who's been out of action since a few months ago. Now, originally, about a while ago. Now, originally, she was supposed to face Emi Sakura for the Super Asia title, and back in January 10th. But unfortunately, she injured herself. That kind of put her on hold for that. So I'm pretty sure we will get that match that we hope for, but we will see then. But it's great that she's doing okay. She just recently tweeted that she is no longer using clutches. Well, it's great that she's not severely that hurt, but I'm glad she's 100% healthy. Now, our first match we have a singles match. We have Sayaka taking on Shon Shiru. Now, I wasn't too sure how this is going to be, but however, Sayaka has shown a lot of promising. I've been a fan of her for a while because she has grown so much, but she's facing a guy who has more experience to her, and that played out pretty well, if you might add. But you know that Shon Shiru's a bit more crafty. He can try to come up with some ways to pick up wins. But of course, Sayaka is fully aware of his capabilities, so she will definitely have to keep an eye on those. But it came up short with her when Shonshiru applied a pinfall, and it was over right from there. Really disappointing loss from Sayaka, but I have to say she did spot on, as I said before, growing up so much, and she picked up a few things along the way. Now, our next match, we have a very interesting tag match. We have Sayaka Obihiro and Minoru Fujita taking on the Best Bros, Mei Shruga and Balinaki. Now, interesting enough, it seems that now, from what I can understand in the body language and the behavior, is that it seems that both Fujita and Obi are clearly aiming for the tag titles. Now, the last time Obihiro, or should I just call her Obi, on the other hand, already challenged for these tag belts but came up short. But it seems like she wants to make another go for them with a different partner this time. But here's the thing, this is a non title match. However, if by some miracle they're able to pick up the win, they could get a title shot. But however, they knew every trick, that every maneuver that, of course, the Bass Bros were going to pull off. The Dolphin Press, not to mention Balaraki's big diving body splash off the window. That didn't do any well for him. But unfortunately, this match ended in a time limit draw. Now, I don't know the official timing, but I'm going to guess it's either 15 or 20 minutes. But once I find out what the answer is, I'll put that on my notes to update it, and we'll see from there. Now, our next match, our main event, we have Nonaka Seto teaming up with Masamune. Now, this guy's a real interesting wrestler. I've seen him many times, but he's a bit mysterious, but he can tag along with anybody. But however, they will be facing against a much experienced team, which is, of course, Masahiro Takanashi and Emi Sakura. As you know, those two are a tag team. They've teamed up for many times. Even their connections towards Thailand, it played out a pretty good well. But however, I know that Nonaka Sato has a bit of fire in her eyes. I've seen her many times. She's nothing compared like her sister, Mie Yotsuba, but however, she does have the capability to show a lot of fighting spirit. But unfortunately, it didn't do any help for her. As you know, the experience of Emi Sakura played out in her favor when she put her in a Boston Crab, and of course, Nolika had no other choice but to tap. Now, for our Junkin tournament, that's an easy thing. I can tell you that the Best Bros did not make it all the way through. Emi Sakura made it all the way to the semifinals, but didn't wait through. But but I can tell you who made it to the final: Sayaka and Nonaka Sato. Now I cannot recall if Nonaka Sato actually won a Jokin tournament, but if she did, then this would have been an easy thing for her. But unfortunately, she came up short because Sayaka picked up the win and won the chocolate. However, even though Nonaka Sato did not win the Jokin tournament or the or her match, at least she gets to celebrate her birthday, which is very important. So they actually celebrated her birthday in the after show, but it was great to see that. So that's pretty much it. Now we are expecting another ChocoPro show after this. I might put that in the next episode, but we'll see what happens until then. But for right now, let's move on to our next and final review, and that is AEW Collision. Okay, AEW Collision. So let's begin. Now, it opened up with the BCC, Claudio Castagnoli and John Moxley getting their hands on Shane Taylor Promotions, Lee Moriarty, and Shane Taylor. Now, if you guys remember what happened in Rampage, Lee Moriarty had a match against John Moxley, which Moxley won. However, John Moxley decided to show respect to Lee Moriarty, but all of a sudden, both Shane Taylor and Lee Moriarty jumped Moxley from behind, laying him dead waste. But however, you know Moxley how he is. He's not gonna let this one slide, no matter what these jerk monkeys might have thought. Now, of course, Shane Taylor thinks he's all a badass, but when it comes to Moxley, you have to prove it to him. But unfortunately, that didn't do any well for him because, of course, Shane Taylor got chokehold once again, even though he did not tap out. But a win's a win for the BCC. Now, during an interview with Renee Paquette, she was interviewing Commander along with Roderick Strong. However, Roderick Strong, who is telling him if he beats Orange Cassidy, he only has 5 weeks to hold on to that belt until Revolution. So he's hoping that this match falls in Commander's favor. But of course, possibly this is just a ploy to ensure that he gets what he wants. He thinks that Orange Cassidy is a false champion, that that belt belongs to him. But we jump into that match for the AEW International title, Orange Cassidy versus Commander. But of course, the Undisputed Kingdom were going to show up to do their thing. But of course, the Kingdom, Bennett and Taven were wasted. Of course, Strong watches from above, but it took only an orange punch by OC to put away Commander. But of course, here comes Roderick Strong. I'm sure Strong is not surprised how this went down, or he's just hoping that somehow he loses his cool. But we'll see what happens when we get to Revolution. Until then. Now, we did not see what just happened, of course, but someone attacked Janet Garcia in the back. But it doesn't take a genius who did that. It had to be the House of Black. They want to prove a point to FTR once and for all that no one cares about them, that they're all alone in this matter. Now later on, we did try to hear a medical update with FTR towards Daniel Garcia, but they were surprised by their blood brother and someone who they shared the ring with, along with his brother. We're talking about Mark Briscoe. As you know, Briscoe said that if, for some odd reason, Daniel Garcia is unable to compete, he's willing to step up. So, of course, FTR told him, look, we appreciate that, but right now, let's see what the results are, and we'll give you a call. So, Mark was cool with the idea. Now, our next match, we have the in-ring debut of Mariah May versus Lady Frost. Now, I want to point out something. If you guys noticed Mariah May's outfit, there's a similarity with with that outfit between a Kairi Hojo, or as we know, or Kairi Sane, and of course Natsupoi. They almost had a similar kind of color looking. So if you guys haven't seen it, look it up. There's a similarities between those wrestling gear outfits with Mariah May, Natsupoi, and Kairi Sane back when she was known as Kairi Hojo. But nevertheless, this is a match where, of course, Mariah May is distributing who she really is. Of course, she is one of those wrestlers we can see who could rise up to the occasion, but it only took a mayday by Mariah May to put away Lady Frost. But I highly doubt that Toni Storm is watching because she's more concerned about her own things. Now, we have a dealer's choice match. Now, remember, at this point, Swerve Strickland and Hangman Adam Page, they're currently tied in order to hopefully get another opportunity for the AEW World Title. But Swerve Strickland chose a member from the Mogul Embassy, and that is, of course, the only person that's never been pinned, Tail Leona. So he will be the guy to do it. However, Hangman, who's okay, you picked Tail Leona, but it's going to be a first time for everyone. But he said that I'm not going to tell you who's going to be up, but I'm tell you that it's going to be the whole effing show. There is a lot of things with that phrase. We know that's a reference to one particular person, and that is RVD. So, of course, Kevin Kelly and Tony Schiavone knew what that meant. There's only one person who's been referenced by that name before, but we'll see what that happens. Now our next match is a proving ground match for the for of course they call it a triple crown between Eddie Kingston and Willie Mack. Now you can say that Willie Mack really put him through the test in some capacity. Now he gave him this match because he respects him a lot because they both were from the same upbringing in the independence, of course. That's always been something that you've been aware. But unfortunately, it would took a very hard spinning back fist by Eddie Kingston to, of course, to win the match. However, as soon as he was celebrating, he was like, "Here we go," and it jumped into it. Brian Danielson, who refuses to respect Eddie Kingston, calls him a bum, walks through him. But however, Eddie Kingston went to the commentary table. They share a lot of knowledge towards Eddie Brian Danielson, telling him, "You know that he can't take it the fact that I beat him. He can't take the fact that I'm me, a bum, has defeated him. So he knows it." But of course, the real question is they ask him, "Why do you think he spit in your face?" And of course, the obvious answer is he wants Eddie Kingston to lose his cool. So he's trying to say, "I'm keeping my cool." But however, Brian Danielson has to contend with one person that's in front of him that is none other than Blue Justice, Yuji Nagata. I have to say, Yuji Nagata, amazing wrestler. I mean, I was always loved the blue color scheme, but not to mention when he does those Undertaker eyes, when he does the Fuji R armbar. That's one of the best parts I like about Nagata. But it was the Busaiko knee by, of course, um, Brian Anderson to pick up the win. Now, as soon as it was over, of course, Daniel Garcia, Brian Danielson showed respect to Nagata, and then he walks towards the stage area, and then he saw Eddie and flipped him. So he's trying to get into his head. But of course, Kingston knows exactly what he's doing. He understands it. You're trying to make me lose my cool. He knows that he can lose temper, but is it working? Well, I don't think it is. I mean, sooner or later, Brian Danielson will pick up something, but we'll see. Now, during an interview, Brian Cage, as you know, is acknowledging the fact that they're no longer, he and Teo Leona and Bishop Khan are no longer the Ring of Honor six-man tag team champions, and they failed to capture the AEW World Trios titles. But however, he talks about Hook, like what's so special about him? You know, I'm the one who was the first ever FTW champion in AEW. But of course, Hook decided who better, so he got it under his skin. So basically, Cage thinks he's not that great, but we all know he's amazing. We know that Hook has the tools and capability. But it makes me wonder what his daddy, Taz, would think of this. I'm sure Taz has nothing to worry about. He knows that his own son can take care of himself. Now, our next match, we have the return of Serena Deeb. She takes on Robin Renegade. Now, of course, it felt like Serena Deeb, who's been gone for 15 months, came back with a vengeance. And that's pretty, it's clear. And of course, the people were cheering her on, but it was the Serenity Lock that put away Robin Renegade and pick up the win. But however, now she wants to elevate the women's division and also aim for the women's title. So that is something we could definitely see down the line in the future, but we'll see where we go from there on. Now, our next match, we had the Steel Cage Escape match. We have FTR, and then of course Mark Briscoe shows up, but all of a sudden House of Black attack Briscoe to ensure that this ends with just FTR losing the match. But however, Garcia all of a sudden showed up from the dead, attacked him. This match was chaotic. So basically, however, I can skip this ahead for everyone because it got juicier. Because the way I like this match, Daniel Garcia, who's been, you know, not criticized, more attacked by FTR because he was able to defeat Brody King than Buddy Matthews. But now Malachi Black is amongst them. And that played out pretty well. And of course, Julia Hart played her part by missing Garcia, but it didn't do any well because it was Garcia who pile drive Malachi Black through a chair, and then he was able to make escape while Malachi and try to get through the door, but Garcia made it through, picked up the win. This is a huge disappointing loss for House of Black. So this is awesome to see that. I really love this match. It tells a fantastic story, and but is this story finished? We'll just see what happens. Can House of Black acknowledge that everything they did to get under the skin of FTR worked? Well, we'll find out. I think that's pretty much it with all the reviews. I believe it's time to move on with some news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news update. So this is going to be a very short one for everyone. Now, our first one we're going to do is, of course, updates on the latest for JCW's Jersey J Cup that's going to happen later on next month. Now, as you know, 17 names have been announced to be participants for the Jersey J Cup. Now, entry number 18 has just been recently been announced, and it is none other than the bad boy himself, Joey Janela. Now, I don't know why they picked him, but not gonna argue. I'm sure they want to make this Jersey J Cup more exciting than ever. So we'll see how that goes down. Now let's talk about some other developments that have been going on in the world of pro wrestling. Now, as you know, I mentioned I did a DWZ discussion regarding about All Japan Pro Wrestling. Amongst them, as you know, many wrestlers made their decision to leave the promotion. One of them is, of course, Black Menso-re. Now, what was his reasons why he left? Now, we know Ishikawa explained his reasons. His reasons was he was not happy with the idea that the president decided to use the ladies from Atlas Girls rather than the Evolution Girls, who are part of the promotion as well. So that's the reason. But this is Black Menso-re's reasons. He said that he confesses, I don't think my current company and I fit together. So he thinks that maybe him and the president could not coexist because possibly there's creative differences or whatever's going on in that world. But it would make sense. Now we know that recently there's been a lot of distrust towards the president of the company of All Japan, and hopefully things can be resolved. But we'll just wait and see. Now, those who may have heard, Momo Kohgo has made a very interesting Instagram story. Man, she's getting into shape, and now she is building up a six pack. I saw photos of that. I'm like, wow, she's getting back in shape. But she's aiming to be in the shape of her life at her age. Now, if you guys don't know what I'm referring to, those know she's already 38. No one knew what her age was, but she's 38 years old. But however, she looks like she was younger from the way I look at her. But that's pretty much it what I know. But hopefully we get to see her. Well, we just don't know exactly. We know she's still part of Stars. She did appear at the Stardom Awards. But from here on out, we just don't know when she'll be returning. But hopefully she does come back real soon. But right now, let's move on to our last little thing we're going to do. It's called the WWE Royal Rumble news. Okay, as you know, is that time of year, the Royal Rumble again. Now, interesting surprises took place in both the women's and the men's division, but majority has come with the women's division. Now, our second entrant to join the Rumble is none other than Naomi. That's right, folks. Recently, as you know, she was known as Trinity in Impact Wrestling. She was the Impact knockout the Impact Knockouts World Champion, and now then transitioned to TNA. She recently lost the belt to Jordan Grace. So there was talks that she could be actually making her return. There was rumors, talks, and speculations towards that. However, speaking of Jordan Grace, she also appeared. That makes her the second person. If you guys remember, Mickey James made her appearance as the Impact Knockouts World Impact's world champion, and now Jordan Grace stepped up to his shoe. She was entry number 5, and they even talked about Noemi and Jordan Grace. I was surprised that they actually brought that up, but this is one of the things about I don't like about WWE. They don't make reference about the wrestlers' history, their past accomplishments, that sort of thing. But I'm just glad that they actually made it. And of course, we had two superstars from the NXT brand making their debut on the Rumble. One of them is Roxanne Perez in number 27 and Tiffany Strand number 29. However, one particular superstar we were hoping to see since we knew she left AEW, she was going to be there. That is Jade Cargill. So she made her appearance in number 28, but I think many people were happy with the moment where she collides with Nia Jax. So that was something we definitely could see. And of course, our final entry, she's back, Liv Morgan. Now, as for the Miz, not a whole lot, but there was one that I think many of us might or may not have thought that he will be back during this time, and that is, of course, Andrade. So I was glad that he was back. There was a moment I did see a clip where he met up with someone he's familiarized with, Santos Escobar. So I don't know for sure if he is trying to have him join Legado del Fantasma. I highly doubt that's going to be because I'm sure that he's going to be his own person. So we'll see where that leads. Now, like any other pay per view that WWE does in the past, they do the press conference. And amongst those talks, as you know, well, I can tell you this before I move on. Before we jump into that, for the women's Rumble, we have Bailey who won, and for the second year in a row in the men's Rumble, Cody. So, but however, who is he going to aim for? Seth Rollins or more Roman Reigns? Well, he picked Roman Reigns. So now he's going to finish the story. Now, let's move on to the press conference, as you know they do at the end. As you know, Triple H was at the press conference. Apparently, they asked questions towards the regarding of the allegations with his father-in-law, Vince McMahon, and he made this thing right here. So let's. This is what he said. This is his response. I'm gonna do exactly what you expect me to do here. We just had an amazing week. Just got a 10-year, 5-year billion dollar Netflix deal. Rock joining our board. We just sold out the Royal Rumble, put 48,000 people in the Tropicana field. I chose to focus on the positive. Yes, there's negative, but I want to focus on that and just keep it to that. I do not read the lawsuit. I think Cody mentioned it that we all found out real time when we were, and there, and the truth, and that's the truth. I'll go back to what I said before. This is an amazing week for us, and at this point, I don't even want to bodge down in the negatives of it. I just want to focus on the positives, and where we're going, and we're at most the exciting time of the year for us. We're at the most exciting point to me, business wise. Think we have ever had. I think Cody might have said, I don't remember exactly what he said, but the best positioning of this company is since the Attitude Era. I've been through that era. I understand what's it like. I feel like we are in the middle of something we were in not in that we're not able to put our finger on right now. 5, 10 years from now, we're gonna try to say, "Wow, what time was that?" I want to focus on that. So, as you know, Triple H is not wants to deal with what just transpired with his father-in-law Vince. So he wants to focus on what's happening now with the Rumble. He has no time for this crap. He doesn't even want to think about it because he knows that this is more important than what's happening. So many of you can say he's probably dodging the actual question. I mean, yes, maybe it sounds like he was, but keep in mind, We know that things can go wrong, morality can go down after what's been happening, but that's how things are. But we'll see what happens from here on out. So I think that's pretty much it what we have. So let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode coming up. As you know, I mentioned this earlier. We do have ChocoPro 354 coming up soon. And then, of course, I'm not 100% sure if I want to review the Royal Rumble, but I'll let you guys know. But if you guys think I should review the Royal Rumble, please leave me a comment in the description down below if you want me to do that. I mean, it's not too late for me right now at this point, but there's that. I do know I am like 3 days behind with Pro Wrestling Noah. I want to keep up with that. We just had the most recent GCW events. Uh, Look at me and Effie's Big Gay Brunch, and of course the latest All Japan Pro Wrestling shows. So that is something I'm definitely going to focus on that too. But like I said before, if you want me to review the Royal Rumble, please leave me a comment down below and tell me, J Rod, review the Royal Rumble. We want to hear your thoughts of what you say. Well, we'll see about that. So I think that's pretty much it for now. I will see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So goodbye. And have a nice day. Bang.